Alrighty folks, I'm Casey and welcome to a brand new episode of Building with Casey. Now over the course of this series so far, we've added in this island with a river to separate our kingdom from our buddy's kingdom. We've also added in some farms, all of which are fully automated and are producing crops that we sell in our farm shop. Which if we carry on, you can see the farm right here with the windmill, the farm shop, a tree, and our storage. These are all of the crops that our kingdom is producing so far. We then move over to the little farm shop where other players can purchase our crops, and an entrance to our kingdom just to border our lands so that everyone knows exactly where we begin and we end. Which brings me in today's episode, because we've still got some unfinished work over here. We haven't even got the city in place. These cliffs are lacking detail. There's a big hole over there, but I don't want to focus on any of that just yet, because we've got obviously the border of our kingdom over here. I want to turn my attention to this corner of our kingdom so that we know where our border is on this side, and I've got some really cool ideas for this side. Not sure if we'll get to all of them in this episode, but I'll run you through what I'm thinking. Now, fully automated crops are amazing, and these aren't the only crops our kingdom will produce. We'll put more farms on other sides as we sort of venture out and expend our kingdom. Yes, expend our kingdom, not expand our kingdom. But they do have a byproduct. You see, it produces sludge, and I've got this temporary setup here that's just taking the sludge and turning it into all of the different things that it produces. And so I want to have some sort of factory that produces these. And I'm thinking that that would be really good to go somewhere here that can then pump the sludge out and into the river. Because if you look, the biome changes. Now, we do have what's called a biome wand in this pack. It's a really simple tool that just basically allows us to change a biome, and it's super easy to use. You just right click in the biome that you want. So we'd right click here, and then the biome that you want to change, you right click there. But it only changes a small amount of the area. But they're cheap and I can do that no problem. But we've also got the swamp here, and I think we all should make use of that rather than terraforming and changing the whole swamp. We should actually make a reason for it to be poisoned, and I've got two ideas. The first one is some sort of factory here that's going to be pumping out the sludge into the swamp, and that's what's making it toxic. But I do have another idea. This is my big reactor. This is responsible for powering my base, and right now it's underground in an old base that I designed years ago. And it's not really all that good. So I want to move it. And I got my idea from this, because this is a poorly designed volcano. Actually, this is just a generic one that spawns in the world automatically. But I think that we can do better. We can build a volcano, and inside of the volcano, we can put the big reactor. And I think that'd be a great way to put it somewhere like right here. And that could also be the reason that the swamp is poisoned. It's just a couple of ideas, and I really like them. So I think the first thing I need to do is get to work on the factory and figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. But before we do that, guys, it's been a bit of a long intro today. So if you could leave the video a like, hit subscribe, consider checking out my other channels, and without any further ado, let's get into the episode. So I think the first goal is just to get outlines in place. I want to peel this back and figure out exactly where this river is going to go. And then I want to get the factory outline in place. Oh, I've done some work. We got the terraforming done over here. You can see sort of how this area is going to go. We've got the factory outline in place here. I did indeed bring the river around, or at least an outline of where the river is going to go here. We've still got to terraform this area. Don't know if we'll do that in this episode or in another episode. We've got the volcano here, or at least an outline for where the center of the volcano will go. And we'll sort of bring this up and up and up. And then we'll bring like mountains going up to it, or not mountains, but you know, sort of inclines going up and feeding into the volcano. So it looks a little bit more natural, because obviously we don't want just a big circle going up. We got to make it look natural. But step at a time, one step at a time. I also needed a couple of things, a couple of resources for this. So you might have noticed this over here. I set up an ender quarry to literally quarry out this entire area for me, because there was a volcano here, and I want the basalt for it. So we've kind of got this just empty patch right here, but we'll be terraforming over this, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. I've also got another ender quarry going in that direction somewhere, getting us a bunch of sand because I want to use sandstone in this build. So we got two big projects that I want to focus on in this episode, and I have thought about the entrance to here. We are going to have an entrance over on that side and over on this side. We're also going to have an entrance on this side, allowing us to come in from this angle. But I think the first thing that I want to do is to start getting this shaped out a little bit more. With a bish and a bash and a bosh and quite a bit of stone, we have a little bit of a template in place. This is what I kind of like. I like the fact that it's all stone. I've tried to keep it stone except for these corner bits, which are going to be a different color. And I'm struggling with what to have them. I like this. This is actually iron. It's not stone. But I want something a bit darker than what we've got here. This is all variants of stone with the exception of this. This is not stone. So I have thought about this here, but I'm not sold. But we've got our entrance over here. We're actually going to come down. I'm going to sort of terraform this area. It's going to be a staircase coming down. Or a natural gradient coming down, I think. Into here. And then you've got entrances on all four sides. Out here, what I'm thinking is we'll have some barrels dumping the the sludge into the swamp. And then this will probably be one of our main entrances along with this one right here. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this side yet, but I kind of wanted them all the same. So there's that. Now, my next goal is these pillars or these towers. So here we are. I've got the towers in place and I've began on the center area, although I'm not entirely certain on it anymore. I don't think sandstone's the right block here. We'll change that probably. But for right now, I just want to take a look around here because I think it looks really, really good. And I'm torn. There's like the builder in me. The builder in me says these cannot be plain. But then just looking at it with these plain, it really does emphasize this middle bit. And your eye is drawn to the center as opposed to the towers. And then the towers are always the interesting bits. But here they just sort of emphasize the center of the building. And I like that. So I'm going to have a think about whether or not I want to do anything with the towers or not. But the next thing I want to do is I want to put the roof on here. And then I'm probably going to change out these blocks to ones that I like. But the first things first is the roof. Now the roof is going to be dark oak. I'm going to keep it in with the theme that we've got over here. And I'm going to use this machine right here because I am terrible at building domes. This is a builder. And we can use the shape card combined with the preview to get a view of what it's going to look like. So that's what the dome will look like. And I think that looks really kind of cool. I want to double check that it goes one block over all of them. There is a couple of blocks here where it's going a little bit more than one block, but I suppose we can always rectify that after. But yeah, it looks good to me. So in theory, all I should have to do is flick this lever and it should start building the block. Wow, that was insanely quick game. Wow, that is really, really quick. That's not even sped up. Wow, that was like a dome inside of what, 10 seconds? That was sweet. Okay, so I changed the sandstone out for limestone. I think that looks a lot better. I spent a lot of time setting up an ender quarry to get sandstone and I didn't use it in the end. That's typical. And I've added one of these inside. I don't know exactly where this is going to go now. Well, I know that they're not going to words because words are apparently very difficult. Not sure exactly where this is going to go, but it's definitely going to go in here somewhere. This is a Magnus torch. It just stops mobs from spawning in 64 blocks. I think I put one in the island. I keep meaning to go in there and double check. I can't remember now if I did or not. But we got quite a bit of space up here, and I want to fill this white space here with solar panels so we can get some sort of power generation. And that way we've got more passive power gen. And the solar panels are here. They're these advanced photovoltaic cells. And they're going to take me a little bit of time to get the resources together. But I think I should need about 4 stacks. A lot of crafting later. We've got the energy cells in place. I kind of like the way that this looks. It looks a lot more grander than I was envisioning. Not so much factory-like. But I do kind of like it on the corner of our territory. I think we're going to put some lore that this building may have been here and we came across this, saw it, and then decided to build our kingdom. I don't know, I'm going to devise some lore against it. But the important part is how much power are we generating? So, I've got it all ready to be hooked up. Are you ready? Let's see. This generates us... we got to wait for it to even out. 6,080 RF per tick. That's going to be a good amount. Now you may be wondering, why am I doing this? We've got energy production over there. We've got energy production over here. I want to have multiple sources of energy production. I would like to run our ME system off of a renewable source of energy so that we always have power. I don't think these are going to work at night, but we sleep most of the night anyway, so it's not a big deal. But we're going to have multiple pieces of renewable energy, and then we're going to have some not so renewable energy. Now, my next main job, I want to focus on the interior here. Hello, slime. How you doing? Welcome to the factory. You are our first guest. You shall die. Well, you should actually spread down to little people, but you will still die, little slimes. So, I want to do some things in here. I have missed a stair there. We'll get on that in a little bit. I want to do some things in here. I don't know if I'm going to section this off into rooms or have it big and open yet, but I definitely want to start getting our sludge production dealt with in here. So, let's get on to that. And I've been thinking a lot about this project, and there's a couple of things that I want to change. This is no longer going to be the entrance. I like the idea that this right here will be the entrance. And I think it'd be really cool to have a pathway going around here and then sort of up and through here and winding up here. That's the first change that I want to make. The second one is the volcano. I really do want to do a volcano, but I think that this space is just too small. It's not going to have the desired effect that I want it to have if we were to do it here. Now, maybe we could pull it off, and I might give it a go, but don't sell your souls on there being a volcano in this episode. It may not happen. So I want to take this sort of portion here and do some heavy work on it. I'm thinking of bringing it up to about here. Where we're going to do, I want to decorate out this here, do this a little bit maybe, and get this done. So I've done some work, and I can't believe just how much this really is immersive. If we look now, dun, da, da, da. So you can't fail to notice that the cliffs have been done here, and this just adds so much more to it. It looks so better than the blocky geometry shapes we've got going over here. Now, obviously, this is going to run the entire way, all the way to there, and I think once it does, it will look really, really cool. But it's such a tedious process to do, and not one that I enjoy very much. So I'm going to break that down into different parts as I do more. Now, I've brought the crops right to the end here, and I think that just fills in more. I'm debating whether or not to hydrate this land or to leave it unhydrated. It's not really that important right now. It doesn't break the immersion for me. And also, this allows me to see exactly where it's being harvested, so that might be a beneficial one. We've also done the same here. It isn't actually too bad with this crop, and obviously when these grow, it'll look a lot better. Now, I've played around with a new block here. I've played around with these things, which require a machine, which is this thing right here. You put some charcoal in, you put some iron in, you put some sand in, and you get this wrought iron. And you can craft this into different types of fences. Well, I say different types of fences. It's actually just one fence that can then be crafted into other ones. So you've got this one, look. And then if we take this, we get rid of all of this. You can see we get all different ones. You know, you could just cycle through them. And they do eventually cycle back on themselves. But they are really, really cool. I've also made a couple of big changes. I decided to put holes in here because I thought it just made it look more factory-like. And I want this to feel like it was a temple at one point in its former life, but has now been retrofitted by our techno mages who have turned it into something like a factory. And I have a huge idea for this swamp, but that'll come later. Now, I have made the decision that over here is no longer going to be the entrance. We are not going to have an entrance here anymore. I just don't think it'll look all that cool anymore. But I did think, you know what, I'm going to fill this in like this. So it looks like at one point there used to be an entrance here, but not anymore. And I like that. It just adds a little bit more character to the build. But now I want to turn my attention to the inside because it doesn't look all that good. I've been hard at work and functionally it's operational. Let's go for a little tour. So as you come in, I was going to divide it down into rooms, but I kind of liked this better. There's still a roof to go on. I've got a ceiling to put in, should I say. But let's talk about what we've got going so far. So over here, we've got the pumping station. These tanks here, these 8 tanks, can be easily removed, and another storage device can be put there. This way I can get sludge if I ever need sludge on the go for something. I could just put it here and gather it. 8 there. We've got ultimate fuel tanks on the top and regular ones on here, but you can put anything here. You can put drums here, you can put tanks here. As long as it can contain a liquid, you can put it here. Now, if we turn over here, this is where the magic happens. And because I wanted to be able to do this with the sludge, it gets a little bit laggy when you look that way, which is kind of surprising. I wanted to be able to turn this machine off. This is our sludge boiler. So if we press this button here, you will see that all of a sudden our materials start doing. Actually, I need to remove my magnet because the magnet kind of messes up the storage bit there. It pulls it actually into the bit between the chest and the glass, and then I end up picking it up. So you can see, I think this is really, really cool, the fact that this is just like dropping them down on the conveyor belt and you get to see it working. I wanted to just utilize immersive engineering a little bit and do something really, really unique. Now, originally I did put the storage out here for the sludge. We had 2 silos, but I decided to change that and move them inside. We've now got 3. And I don't think these will ever get filled with or generating enough sludge, but this will probably be the main sludge processing plant for the entire world of mine. I'll probably just always pump it here because you don't get that much. But we got 3 on the back, so plenty of storage and plenty of functionality. And then over here, all of the items that we get from it are stored here. And now I do want to set up an ME system, but I also want to kind of hook it up to our ME system that's over there. That's a lot of cabling and a lot to do, so maybe in a little bit. Anyway, my next goal is to get the roof put on, because right now the ceiling is, well, it's gone on holiday is where it's gone. I'll be honest, it's gone to like Ibiza or Barbados. Whoa, we're going to Barbados or Ibiza. Oh man, anyway, let's get the roof put on. Real quick, the sludge boilers here are still being powered by the power generated by this building. So far, all of our farms are running on a renewable energy source, which is awesome. Well, I've got the inside, for the most part, completed. We've got the ceiling in place. I definitely wanted to keep that feel of a temple that had been, like, retrofitted to fit this in, although I'm tired of the slimes in here. I do have a wand that I'm changing the biome slowly, so hopefully these freaking slimes stop spawning. But the hallways are bare and empty right now, but they're all pretty much the same. Little bit thing is, I'm not sure what I want to do with this, and I'm definitely not sure what I want to do with upstairs, whether I want to actually have a walkway up here or not. So until I can figure that out, I'm just going to leave them be. But my next focus is to turn to this bit right here. I want to start getting this sort of this cliff face in place all the way to roughly about here. And I want to have a sewer gate because, again, we are going to be polluting this river. And this is what's caused the swamp to come out like this. I've got some much more in-depth lore, which will be in a lore episode later on in the week. But for right now, this is where I want to go. So I'm going to get this taken care of. I've done a spot of work. First of all, let's start with, you can see the piering over here. So I've got the cliffs in place and we've got the little grated area here. I do want this coming out and into the water here, but I want to terraform this swamp entirely, so I'm just gonna hold that back for now, and obviously we will glorify this when we work on the swamp, but one task at a time. But now what I've gone and done is I've extended the pathway around, and this was a mistake this year. I accidentally left this here, but I've kind of grew attached to it there, so I'm leaving it there because I like it. So I kind of figured over here we'd have some wheelbarrows where they're dumping stuff. I don't think I can actually put anything in the wheelbarrows, which is unfortunate. It would be nice to be able to put something in the wheelbarrows, but I can put them on top of it. It just doesn't look as good, does it? But you can see over here I've got a couple of the Minecraft made wheelbarrows, just showcasing some of the stuff that we are making here. I've also put the doors on this side, so when we look at it from this angle, it's completed, and again from this angle, it's completed. The only 2 angles that it's not completed on are from this angle, which we will deal with at a later date, as well as this angle, because I'm unsure exactly what I want to do up here. I've got a few ideas, but I do kind of like this for now. Looking at it from this angle, now that we've got this in, I can't believe just how much this brings this to life. Like, this looks so much better than when we're looking over here. I can't wait to get this repeated all the way down here. I think it's going to look so good, but that's going to take some time. And now I want to turn my attention to the volcano, or lack thereof. I've been debating this volcano for some time. I really want to do a volcano, and I really want to put my power supply in there, or my power generation in there. I just don't think this is the right location. I think this is more of a, I want to do a volcano, so I'm just going to make one rather than doing one that fits, and I would rather do one that fits. When we started putting this world together, we focused our attention on this island, and this was where our nation began. As the next episode rolled around, we focused on our farming lots, which brought a little bit of life to this area, but not as much as it did when we added in a farm shop, a windmill, and a wall. Now all of this farming goodness, from barrels of fruit to the production of all of our crops, would bring about a byproduct of sludge, and we really needed to think about what we was going to do with it. So in this episode, we took this corner of land here, we terraformed the hills, and we brought it all around so that we had a nice, simple patch to work with. We then decided that we was going to put down this factory right here. It started as just a build, but soon it would generate power for us in the form of solar grids, and it would go on to become a production of not only sludge, but all of the products that sludge can be turned into when boiled, from clay to podzol to other things that we just don't have access to normally. Ultimately, my favorite part of today's build was the ability to bring the farms to the edge of the terrain and terraform the cliffs so that it actually felt more natural. And this for me was my favorite part of today's episode. So that is where I'm going to bring this episode to a close. Guys, if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like and hit subscribe. Consider checking out my other channels. Those are linked down below. But as always, I'm Casey. You're the awesome folk. Thank you so much for watching. You guys take care now.
A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change. Play the game that we say.